Welcome to the Great Basin Prescribed Fire and Smoke Transport Briefing for Monday, January 9th. Over the last 7 to 14 days, we continue to have significant precipitation across the Great Basin and generally focused across Nevada and Utah and then up into parts of Idaho and Wyoming. This precipitation has been well above normal for the last couple of weeks, and we've had significant both high and low elevation snowfall as well as rainfall in the lowest elevations. Over the last 72 hours, we've had new snowfall in the Sierra, where we've seen anywhere from 12 to 18 inches. And over into Idaho, Utah, and Wyoming, not quite as much. However, we have seen areas that have had above 6 to 10 inches of snowfall. The snow depth is indicated on the right, and all of the higher terrain, including some low elevations, have significant snowpack. Currently, our snowpack is well above normal in all areas, especially across Nevada and Utah, where snowpack is above 150 to 200% of normal. Further north, conditions are still doing well in Idaho and Wyoming, but are closer to normal. The satellite loop from this morning shows a large area of low pressure off the west coast, and this will continue to push stronger winds across the Great Basin, along with significant precipitation over the next couple of days. For today, most of the precipitation has already moved into California and western Nevada and will be pushing eastward into central areas of the Great Basin later today. Significant fire potential, obviously, with these wet conditions that are continuing and have been continuing for quite some time, will remain low. Looking at the transport winds, the strongest winds will be across parts of Nevada into parts of Utah, with still some breezy winds up north, and mixing heights will remain high as this storm will bring in some warmer weather along with the stronger winds. Relative humidity will remain quite high with the moisture, and dispersion will remain generally low across most of the Great Basin. But again, we will continue to have that significant amount of precipitation, especially up in the Sierra and into western Nevada today. As we move into tomorrow, this system pushes eastward along the west coast. This will push that moisture east into central and eastern areas of the Great Basin, again, mainly targeting Nevada and Utah and parts of Arizona, with lesser amounts of precipitation as you move north, with continued low fire potential under these wet conditions. Transport winds, again, will remain strongest across Nevada and into Utah and Arizona, where we will see those gusts above 40 miles per hour. Mixing heights will remain high, with the exception of northern areas. Relative humidity again remains high with the moisture, and dispersion will only be good in areas where we have those stronger winds over the southern half of Nevada, parts of western Nevada, and into southern Utah and Arizona. By Wednesday, this system exits, but we still have that large trough presence off the west coast, so we will see another round of precipitation going into Wednesday with continued low fire potential. Winds will decrease on Wednesday, but remain breezy in some of the higher terrain of Utah, and then again start picking up again into California and western Nevada. But central areas of the Great Basin certainly seeing lighter winds on Wednesday than what we'll see here the next couple of days. Mixing heights will be dropping, so we will see those inversions in place across central and northern areas. Relative humidity will still remain high, and dispersion will decrease, again with that decrease in winds and lowering mixing heights, with the exception of over eastern areas of the Great Basin, which will still have those breezier winds. Temperatures will remain seasonal across the Great Basin, with highs in the 30s and 40s during the day and lows dropping into the 20s and some teens at night. The clearing index for Utah shows higher clearing indices over western Utah today with those gustier winds, and then clearing indices improve statewide on Tuesday as those stronger winds move east, and then mainly those higher clearing indices focused over the eastern side of the state by Wednesday as that system exits. The 3-day amount of precipitation, you can see all areas getting at least some precipitation. The heaviest amounts clearly in the Sierra, where we will see upwards of 2 to 3 inches, which will mainly be in the form of snowfall. So we are expecting 3 to 4 feet or higher of new snowfall in the Sierra. As you move further east, we will see good amounts of both rainfall in the lowest elevations and snowfall up high, with anywhere from 1 to 2 feet in the higher elevations and anywhere from a ½ inch up towards an inch or inch and a half of precipitation in lower elevations. So definitely a very good storm moving through here over the next couple of days. As we move into Thursday, we will see a ridge of high pressure move over the area, so we will see those inversions return along with poor dispersion. On Friday, the next system starts to approach the west coast, and by Saturday moves across the area, so we will see that moisture returning Saturday and Sunday through the weekend across the Great Basin. Dispersion will be improving as we approach the weekend, just with those gustier winds out ahead of the system. Sunday, the system continues to move across the Great Basin, so again, still unsettled weather and continued wet conditions with poor dispersion. Our precipitation on days 4 and 5, this is generally Thursday through Saturday, so again, that break in weather across much of the Great Basin. But as we move into Saturday through the Sunday, Monday time period, looks like the system is starting to push a little bit further south, so we will see better precipitation, certainly in the higher terrain of the Sierra, but also over southern areas of the Great Basin as opposed to areas further north. And then the 7-day total precip, obviously most of that here with the next few days with this stronger storm, but again, still good amounts of precipitation, keeping fire potential low and keeping snowpack high across the Great Basin. And this pattern will continue going through the middle to third week of January with these wetter conditions and generally cooler temperatures down south. That concludes our webcast for today. Check back on Wednesday for the latest updates.